Hello everyone. This is Dilip Kumar, working as assistant professor in Department of ECE, Annamacharya Institute of Technology and Sciences, Tirupati. So in today's session, we are going to discuss on introduction to the Smith chart. Okay. So in this session, we will look into this that what are the different lines to have. In detail the structure of the Smith chart with a small derivation. We will look into that. So this is a very small unit circle on which a Smith chart is constructed. Actually, why we need to go for the Smith chart is the advent of the digital computers and calculators. Engineers has developed a sorts of aids like slide rules, tables, charts, graphs, etc., to facilitate their calculations for design and analysis. So, in the similar manner, to analyze the impedance values, reflection coefficient, of course, I have shown here the symbols. If you see, this is the gamma reflection coefficient, SWR value S, and along with this, impedance values, input impedance also can be measured using this Smith chart. So through the calculations also we can identify, but the only thing to implement the Smith chart is to reduce the complexity in finding the transmission line characteristics. Mainly that is the input impedance, the gamma reflection coefficient, and SWR. Okay, so mainly the reflection coefficient lies between here from 0 to 1. If you see, this is the center point of this circle, unit circle, where it is having gamma reflection coefficient is 0, and the maximum value of this unit circle, that is equal to 1. That is nothing but unit circle gamma equal to 1, and standing wave ratio S is varies from 1 to infinity. Of course, we can get this equation simply, which was discussed in the previous sessions. That is gamma, S equal to 1 plus gamma by 1 minus gamma. From this relation also we can get S equal to 1 for gamma equal to 0, and S equal to infinity for gamma equal to gamma equal to 1. Okay, so these relations, using these relations to find that is a gamma and S and Z in input impedance values, these are the characteristics of the transmission line that can be easily calculated using the Smith chart. That is a note points is here, reflection coefficient lies between 0 to 1, and your S value is from 1 to infinity. And one more thing, the Smith chart is especially applicable for only lossless transmission line. That is the case Z naught equal to R naught. Okay, so here the axis, just like how your normal graph will have X axis and Y axis. If you take a normal signal to draw, analog signal to draw, on X axis we will take the time axis, Y axis will have amplitude or something else. So similarly, here the x-axis is the gamma reflection coefficient, real part term is on x-axis. On y-axis to see here the reflection coefficient, imaginary part. Okay, imaginary part. So even if you want to see this reflection coefficient in terms of phasor form, it is a line as drawn here. This is the magnitude point, and is a phase angle, that is gamma is a theta gamma. Okay, so this is the center point of this circle. So the same the center of this unit circle is gamma equal to 0 and S equal to 1. If you move on away center to away, towards the outer side, gamma is continuously increases. That is gamma equal to 1. Parallelly, your S also, SWR also will continuously increasing. So to have to point all the different values, that is resistance values, inductance values, onto the chart, it is not directly to possible for the single. Of course, this is a unit circle, only for single value of it is possible, but in real time case, the values of impedance and your S values and your resistance reactance values will continuously change depending on the type of material. So for that case, normal impedance value is not sufficient. Normal impedance value is not sufficient. so that we need to go for a new impedance value that can be helpful to identify your normalized impedance. So normal impedance to give you the value ZL equal to R plus JXL. This is the value. Of course, XL or XC, inductive or capacitive. So normalized value, we will have the relation. We'll have, let us assume a small ZL. Okay, that should be equated to a relation of ZL by Z0. Z0 is called characteristic impedance. Using this relation, we are going to obtain the value of normalized impedance. Of course, the normalized impedance, I am writing it as a small terms R plus JX. Here, the X can be your inductive part or capacitive part. So here, from one more relation which was discussed in the previous session, that is a reflection coefficient also I am using. That is a gamma equal to ZL minus Z0 by ZL plus Z0, that is also using here. And this is the relation ZL minus 1 by, of course, if you take the common term Z0 from the numerator and denominator, I will get this term. So that is equated to gamma R plus J gamma I. This is the relation. Now this term gamma I am writing in terms of real part and imaginary part. That is writing in the complex function part. So if you take the product of these two, using these two relations, these two terms I will consider. Take the product, I will get the term like this. That is a gamma R plus J gamma I into ZL plus 1 equal to ZL minus 1. Okay, so if you take the product, then I'll have the relations will be, in terms will be like this: gamma R into ZL plus gamma R plus J into, that is the imaginary part, J into gamma I into gamma L ZL plus gamma I equal to ZL minus 1. Okay, so if you simplify this term, I'll have the gamma R. So I'll make it one more step directly here. So if you take the common term, taking the ZL onto the right hand side, so that taking the ZL terms on left hand side, remaining terms on the right hand side, I'll have the equation, final equation, ZL equal to 1 plus gamma R plus J gamma I divided by 1 minus gamma R minus J gamma I equal to R plus Jx. Okay, of course, the same time, once again, I am writing here. So here, this term, we need to have a little bit simplification is required for this. Multiply and divide with the terms 1 minus gamma R, that is in the denominator term, I mean numerator term, we are going to multiply and divide, plus J into gamma I. So after multiply and divide, we will have the terms will be like this: ZL equal to 1 plus gamma R plus J gamma I 1 plus, one second. So it is a minus. Okay. So we are taking a multiply and division with the numerator term, that is 1 minus we will get. So 1 minus gamma R, okay, plus J gamma I. Similarly, the denominator term will be, of course, the denominator term which is same equal to the denominator, I mean opposite term, that is a plus IB and a minus IB. So if you take the product directly, I can get the value like this: 1 minus gamma R whole square plus gamma I square. Okay. So here, then the terms, the simplify, after taking the multiplication of all these things, we will get the equation we'll get the equation like this, that is 1 minus gamma r square plus j into gamma I 1 plus gamma r plus j into gamma I 1 minus gamma r minus gamma I square divided by, your denominator term will be the same, there is no change in it. Okay. That equal to, so 1 minus gamma r square minus gamma I square. So I am writing the imaginary terms, that is j terms separately. So then you will get 1 plus gamma r into gamma I plus gamma I into 1 minus gamma r divided by, your denominator term is the same, there is no change in it, gamma r square plus gamma I square. Okay. Now the next term will be like this, 1 minus gamma r square plus, sorry, it is a minus, we'll get minus here, minus gamma I square plus j into gamma I is taken common. Then you will have the term 1 plus gamma r plus 1 minus gamma r. Okay. Your denominator term is same, 1 minus gamma r whole square plus gamma I square. So here the terms will be cancelled, that is a plus gamma r and minus gamma r will be cancelled, so that the remaining terms will be like this. That is, so I am going to write this entire equation in the terms of real and imaginary part separately, because the denominator term is same, that is a 1 minus gamma r square minus gamma I square divided by, your term is the same in the denominator, so that will be the same as it is. So then it is a gamma I square plus j into 2 gamma I divided by 1 minus gamma r square plus gamma I square. So this term is equated to your r plus jx. Okay. So here to look into here, the terms r has been, that is a resistance value has been equated to this term. Okay. That is this term, and your x term has been equated to this value, it is a j term. Okay. So r is equal to this value and x equal to this value. So we are going to write that. So we're going to continue for that. That is r value and x values has been determined. R equal to will be your r equal to 1 minus gamma r square minus gamma I square, that was defined in the previous slide. 1 minus gamma r whole square, because the denominator term is same, there is no change in it, gamma I square, and x equal to the term 2 gamma I divided by 1 minus gamma r whole square plus gamma I square. Okay. So if we simplify these two equations, to some extent, so multiply and divide both the terms, r is with the denominator, x is with the denominator, we will have one more equation in a simplified manner, that will be looks like this, gamma r minus r by 1 plus r whole square plus gamma I square equal to 1 minus 1 plus r whole square. Thus x equation will be looks like this, gamma r minus 1 whole square plus gamma I minus 1 by x whole square equal to 1 by x whole square. Okay, so these are the two equations we got. So the both here I am going to write the equations here, both equation 1 and equation 2 here, representing here. One second. So equation 1 and 2 writing here. So this equation 1 and 2 is similar to the equation which I am writing here, x minus h whole square plus y minus k whole square equal to a square. So this is the equation, I mean a general equation of a circle of radius a with the axis x and y, and the center point is h comma k. Okay, this is called a general equation for the circle. Now I am going to equate this equation, that is equation 3, to both 2 as well 1. So if we equate, we will have the terms will be, that is x and y of the general equation can be equated to your axis gamma r and gamma I. That is x-axis is gamma r, imaginary axis is gamma I. And with respect to this one, that is the first equation, this equation one is called r value, that is a resistance value represents only, which is equal to only resistance. So this is equal to a circle. So in the Smith chart, we have to get our resistance circles, resistance patterns will be in the form of a circles. So similarly, the equation 2 is in terms of x, that is the reactance values. It is also equated to general equation. It is also in the form of general equation of a circle. So your reactance also is in the form of circles. So from this, both the terms from the equation 1 and 2, I can have the center value. Okay, I can write the center value for equation 1 is equal to, so comparing the gamma r and gamma I, that is r by 1 plus r center point comma 0, because there is no term here with respect to here, that is a y minus k, there is no y minus k, I'm going to write here 0, and your radius is a equal to 1 by 1 plus r. Similarly, to write for similarly, if you write the center, okay, you write the center for the reactance value will be 1 comma 1 by x, and your radius will be a equal to 1 by x. Okay, so these are the values for both the reactance circles and even resistance circle. Axis will be the same, that is gamma r and gamma I, and your center is h comma k, which is equal to r by 1 plus r comma 0 for resistance circles, and radius is a equal to 1 by r, and the center for reactance circles is 1 comma 1 by x, and radius is 1 by x. So in continuation this we are going to look into the equation, I mean circles, what kind of circles we can able to see, that is resistance circles. Okay, resistance circles with different radii and different centers. So if you look into this, please look here. So let us take this normalized value of the resistance. Okay, normalized value of your resistance. Let us take some normal sample values, typical values, that is 0, okay, and 1 by 2, 1, 2, 5, and infinity. Okay, so for these different values, we are going to see the center, that is r by 1 plus r comma 0. Okay, and let us look for radius, that is 1 by 1 plus r radius. So for 0, if you substitute the value of r, you will get the center is 0 comma 0 and radius is 1, and here you will get the radius center is 1 by 3 comma 0 and your radius is 2 by 3, and the center is here for the 1 by 2 comma 0 and the radius is 1 by 2, and for the 2 value we can get the center is 2 by 3 comma 0 and radius is 1 by 3, and for the 5 value it is a 5 by 6 comma 0 and the radius is 1 by 6, and for the infinity So if we substitute the infinity directly, it looks like to be infinity, so that you can take the common term r, numerator and denominator, all will get cancelled. So we will get 1 by 1 plus 1 by r. So that will be, you will get a substitute 1 by infinity is 0. This term will get 1. So numerator is 1. So then you will have the center value 1 comma 0. That is equal to 0. So this is what that we have seen in the first slide. That is a unit circle center. Okay, 1 comma 0. That is your gamma value, which is equated to your resistance circle. Okay. So we are going to see the image, how these, with respect to these center values and resistance radius values. So we will look into that, how it will looks like, the image will be for those typical values which was considered just now, 0, 0.5, 1, 2, 5, and infinity. So for 0, just now we have seen the center will be 0 comma 0. 0 comma 0 is the center. So this is the origin point. So okay, so not this origin, axis will be gamma resistance, it is a real part of reflection coefficient on x-axis, imaginary part of reflection coefficient on y-axis. Okay. So for the resistance value 0 that was considered just now in the previous slide, we have seen for the 0 resistance, we got the center is 0 comma 0. So here this is the 0 comma 0 value. Okay. Okay. So let's look into this. So this is the point of center 0 comma 0. That is this point 0 comma 0 axis. Now with the radius how much? 1. So if you look into this, this is the radius of 1. This is called unit circle that has been shown. Okay. So for the resistance value of 0. Similarly, if you take another resistance 0.5, we can have the other value that is of around 2 by 3 is the radius. Center is 1 by 3 comma 0. So if this is the, resistance circle will be r equal to 0.5, this one. So for r equal to 0.5, your center has been shifted towards this side, right? So center has been shifted towards right side. So if it continues, that is the resistance value is continuously increasing, what about our radius? Radius is continuously decreases. Resistance value increases, radius is continuously decreases. So from 0 to infinity resistance is increases, your at infinite resistance value, your radius is 0. That is your circle, r circle is equal to your, it becomes a point. R circle becomes a point. This is about R circles. Okay. In the similar way, if we go for the equation, with respect to x circle equation, which was shown in the previous slide, we are going to see other kinds of radius and centers. Similarly for x circles. Okay. So if you see x circles, a normalized value, we will consider x, and your radius is a 1 by x, and your center is 1 comma 1 by x. Okay. So similar kind of typical values we will consider here. So the whatever the considered values, same typical values. So instead of normal 1 by 2 in the previous case, we will consider here plus or minus 1 by 2. So I'll just tell you just 5 seconds to think of. Just think of why I have given here, so that I later write the remaining values by the time. So if you assumed that, if you remembered that both the positive and negative values is the reactance with respect to the inductance and capacitive parts. That the reactance can be either the reactance can be either inductive or capacitive. Okay. So based on the inductive or capacitive, it has been considered for both positive and negative values. So positive is for inductive and negative is for capacitive impedance. So the value, let us look at the radius and the center. So radius will be infinity for 0, and it is a 1 comma 1 infinity, and you will get the values 2, and here 1 comma plus or minus 2. Okay. And we will have the other terms, that is for plus or minus 1, we will have the radius is 1, and center is 1 comma plus or minus 1. So obviously we don't have the radius in negative, though that is why we have been considered directly with the positive values 1 by 2. Here 1 comma plus or minus 1 by 2. So it is a 1 by 5. here it is a 1 comma plus or minus 1 by 5, and here 0, 1 by infinity 0. So you will get 1 comma 0. So let us see the similar kind of images. Just now we have seen with respect to R circles. Let us look for these different typical values. Let us look into the images. Okay. So if you take the typical X circles, typical, actually it was a mistake here. So here it is a X, not the R. It is the X. It was a mistake. It is X circles. So here, if you look into this, these are typical X circles, X equal to 0. For X equal to 0, it is infinite. It is infinite. Okay, that is the radius is infinite. That is it's somewhere at somewhere portion at somewhere, that is radius is somewhere at somewhere it is going to be form in the circle. Okay, so another value, your center is 1 comma infinity. So at somewhere the center will also can be exist for both plus or minus 0. So similarly, plus or minus 0.5, plus or minus 0.5. So for X equal to plus 5, plus point, that is a plus 1 by 2, I have the circle will be like this. Your positive circle will be somewhere. So I am unable to draw the diagram in a proper manner on the screen. So try to assume this is a circle at somewhere it is going to be, it is a form a circle. So within the unit circle, it has taken some portions of the reactance circles. So these are the parts in the some portion of the circle within the unit circle it has been drawn. Okay. Similarly, for X equal to 1, X equal to 2, X equal to 5, and it goes on. So in the same manner, if you increase the reactance values at some infinite position, the radius will be 0 for reactance circles. This is out only for the positive values. So this positive values is for, that is a positive reactance value is for inductive impedance. Okay, is for inductive impedance. Okay, and similar type of circles we can able to get here. That is a similar kind of circles we can able to get here. Okay, so in similar way, if you continuously change the values from X equal to 0, minus 0, minus 1 by 2, minus 1, 2, here also your radius is also continuously decreases at infinite position of X equal to minus infinity reactance. Your radius is 0. So it is become as a point. Circle becomes a point at this location. So the negative values will be for this capacitive impedance. Okay. So it is a capacitive impedance. So now these are the different kinds of circles. Okay. So that has been looked into here. Okay. So let us see if we have superimpose of these X circles and R circles is nothing but your Smith chart. Okay. So just now if you see here, this blue colors lines, blue color lines onto the black chart. Okay. So these are the circles of R circles in a full round. So if this is a blue line, if you look into this, is a blue line for R equal to 0.5, 1 by 2. R equal to 1, R equal to 2. So if continuously increases, your circles will be changed. Just 1 second. So this circles will be continuously decreases. That I mean radius is continuously decreases. So this is the value of R equal to 1 circle. So let us denote here. So this is the part. Okay, this is a circle. Okay. So this is the circle for R equal to 0. The circle for R equal to 0. Next other circle is R equal to 0.5. So in between your R equal to 0, R equal to this R equal to 0 circle, so R equal to 1 by 2 circle. This is equal to of course 0.5. So in between R equal to 0 and 1, we have other circles. What are those circles? R equal to 0.1, R equal to 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Okay, just like your normal graph, how it looks like, your normal graph 1 unit is equal to 10 divisions will have, right? In a similar way, 1 unit if you take from 0 to 2, you have how many kinds? 20 divisions will be there. From 0 to 0.5, 1, So in between we have a individual divisions is required. So those many circles also will be there. This is a 0.1 circle, this is a 0.2 circle, this is a 0.3 circle. So if you look here, these values of resistance will be denoted on the x-axis. This is the gamma real part axis. This is a gamma real part axis. Real part axis is a gamma real part axis. So here, if you look, so here image is not properly shown here. This is a very blurred image. So we will look into the next slide in a very clear manner. Okay. So in the similar way, R circles, we have the X circles. Okay. We have the X circles. So let's look into the X circles. So if you look into the X circles, so at X equal to 0, this is the infinite portion, X equal to 0. And for X equal to 0.5, this is the value, X equal to 0.5 and X equal to 2. Okay, so it goes on. So this is for plus value. Similarly for minus values, these are the X values. X equal to minus 0.5, X equal to minus 2. So it continuously increases. So it continues. So these are the other circles. So as just like your R circles in between these two, that is a minus 0.5 and minus, 0 and minus 5, we have a other circles also in between. These are called X circles. So at somewhere it is going to be formed in the form of a circle. So within this unit circle, it is having a maximum size. It is going to be looks only partial parts of the reactance circles are shown in this figure. So in the next slide, we are going to see in a clear picture manner. So to represent that, and of course the center circles which is shown here, these are S circles. That is a Smith standing wave ratio circles. This is the center value S equal to 1. Okay, so this is the S equal to 2, S equal to 2 and S equal to 3. It goes on continuously. If you have a radius of this compass, if you draw a circle, so then that is equal to your S circles, S circles. Okay, so we will look into the next image. If you see here, of course it is a visible. So it is a 0. That is for R equal to 0, R equal to 0.1, R equal to 0.2, and it goes on, increases. So that is R equal to 0 circle is this one. Let's take into this. So it is a R equal to 0 circle. R equal to 0 circle. And similarly, here it is a R equal to 0.5 circle is this one, right? This is R equal to 0.5 circle. So in between these two, you can able to see the values of R equal to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, and it goes on. So as we have seen in the previous slides, the table shows that as the resistance value increases, your radius of the circles is continuously decreases and it becomes 0 at infinite. And similarly for X circles, these are the X circles. If you look into this, so for X equal to 0, this is the infinite radius. Okay, so for X equal to, X values will be shown here. So this is here, this value is X equal to 0.1, X equal to 0.2, and it goes on increases this way. The circles will be like this: X equal to 0.1 circle, and this is a 0.3 circle, 0.4 circle, 0.5 circle, 0.6, and it is 1, X equal to 1 circle, 1.2, 1.4. It goes on like this. Okay, so these are X circles. So both X circles and R circles has been imposed. Your R value, resistance value will be always positive with respect to this chart. So here, and the X values, this is for positive, that is the inductive side. Then what about capacitive side? We will have the other values, looks like here 0.1. This is X equal to minus 0.1, X equal to minus 0.2, X equal to minus 0.3. These are circles. Okay, circles. X 0.1 circle, 0.2 circle. So this is for capacitive side. Okay, so this is a superimpose of your both resistance circles as well inductive circles. Inductive both, reactance circle with both inductive as well capacitive circles. So along with the resistance and capacitive circles, we can have the other peripherals, that was shown, I mean outer periphery has some more extra additional circles are there. If you look into this, there is a red circle surrounded by the Smith chart, that is R and X circles. So it is equal to your protractor. It is equal to your protractor existing element. Okay, existing element of protractor. So it has been divided into both the directions. The entire 360 has been divided into two halves, that is a plus 180 and minus 180. If you look into this starts from 0 degrees, 10, 20, 30, and it goes on 90, and it has ended with plus 180 here. Okay, it is a one direction. If you go in other direction, we can have minus 10. In other direction, 10 degrees, 20 degrees. Similarly, it goes on minus 180 degrees. Okay, so at this side it shows plus 180 and minus 180. This is about the red circle. Okay, the red circle surrounded by outer periphery of the Smith chart. Then among with this, there is a other one. There is other additional two circles. It is shown here. That is, with respect to transmission line, it has shown this arrow mark. This arrow mark, if you see here, it shows two directions. There is a two directions. So here, if you look into here, this direction will goes in one direction. This is a clockwise direction. There is a other direction which is in anti-clockwise. That is, your wave can able to travel both in forward as in reverse directions. If it is a forward direction, that is in clockwise, that is from this point, if it is in clockwise, that is in this direction, it means the wave is traveling towards generator. Okay, that is the wave is traveling towards generator. This is the opposite man. So in this direction, if the wave is propagating in this direction, if you look into this direction, it shows from this point, that is the wave is propagating towards the load. Okay, this direction shows the wave is propagating towards generator. This direction shows towards the load. Okay, so this is about the waves. Two directions of which are shown here. Okay, so this is towards generator and this is towards load. So here, to get the value, actually if you take a one complete cycle of the wave, which is equated to your wavelength lambda. So to identify the position of the wave with respect to load side and the generator side, these two circles has been made, outer periphery of the protractor, two circles. If you look into this, this is the point where it is shown 0. So then it is 0. If you if you want to go towards generator side, it is 0, increases by the value of 0.01. This value is 0.01. This value is 0.02, and it goes on increases and it reaches the value here 0.25. This value. Okay, then other side, if you look into this, if half circle is 0.4, then full circle is, you will get 0.49. This is the 0.49, then it reaches here 0.5. So which is equated to here 1/2. So this is the distance traveled by the wave. So if you equate this term with respect to wavelength, then it is a lambda by 2. That is a wave traveled with a half wave. Wave traveled with half wavelength. This is a lambda by 2. So to get a half wavelength, you need to rotate your pointer with how many degrees, which is equal to your 360 degrees. So then to get the total value lambda full wavelength, then you have to go for two rotations. Two times you need to rotate, then you will get the total value lambda, then that is equal to your 720 degrees. In the similar way, if you look into here, that is, if you see towards load side, if you see the same values, you can able to see that is 0, 0.01, 0.01, 0.02, that is towards load side. It goes on here once again 0.25, and you will get here 0.49. So here 0.5. So once again you will get this value. Then towards load side, if you want to move full wave, then you need to move for 720 degrees for the value of full wave. Okay, so then we will see this with respect to the transmission line in the next slide. If you look into this, yes, one more thing. The same figure has been enlarged with only the outer periphery of the Smith chart. So if you see the very clearly, it has been shown, it is a towards generator side, it is a towards load side. So it is a clockwise direction and it is an anti-clockwise direction towards load. So this, if you see, this is the outer periphery of the first outer periphery of the innermost circle of the Smith chart is equal to your protractor, and the point is shown here. One end of the point is P short circuit, other end right hand side is 0 degrees is the point for open circuit. This is the values. This is the center of the your Smith chart. Then second periphery is equal to your load, so if you look into this direction, equal to your load moving, load direction, if you want to move 0, okay, one wave is 2 rotations, then it is equal to 720, which is equal to lambda. Only one rotation equal to lambda by 2. Similarly, the outermost periphery of the third circle is towards generator. If you want to move towards generator with respect to wave, one rotation equal to, you will get 0.5. So full 2 rotations, which is equal to lambda, that is equal to number of degrees you want to move is totally 720 degrees. So next, if you see, this is the generator side, load side. If you want to move from load to generator, this is the direction. If you want to move from generator to load, this is the direction to see. Okay. So here, if you want to look some examples, so let's take this alone. We will take. So if you take the example, let us take one impedance value to show your both Z equal to resistance and reactance circles. Z equal to, let us take 2 plus J. Okay, here R equal to 2 and X equal to 1. So it is a plus 1, so it is an inductive side. So if R equal to 2, if you want to point R equal to 2, let us R equal to 2 circle, this is 0.1, it goes on 1, and this is the 2. This is the 2 circle. This is the 2 circle. Then this is the 2 circle. Then what about X equal to 1 circle? If you, that is to be move on this side, 0.1, it goes on and it is 0.1. This is 0.1. Sorry, it is 1. It is X equal to 1 circle. Okay. So wherever the intersection of your R circle, that is R equal to 2, and X circle, that is X equal to 1, this point is called your impedance value representation. That is Z equal to 2 plus J. Okay. Let this be as a 0.1. Similarly, let us take this is a 0.1 is shown. Similarly, to represent 0.2, which is equal to, let us take other example, 1 minus 0.5 J. So here R equal to 1 and your X equal to minus 0.5, which is the capacitive side. So R equal to 1 circle is, let this point, this is the R equal to 1 circle. Okay, this is a R equal to 1 circle. So actually I'm unable to draw the circle properly. You try to analyze it clearly. So R equal to 1 circle, and let us take R equal to X equal to minus 0.5. Where is a minus 0.5? So you have to go for in opposite direction. 0, minus 0.1, minus 0.2, 0.3, 0.5. So it is a minus 0.5 circle is this one. Minus 0.5 circle is. So wherever your R circle, that is R equal to 1 circle, R equal to 1 circle, and X circle, that is X equal to minus 0.5, this point is P2, that is second value. So that is Z1 impedance and Z2 impedance. So this is some example. And similarly, if you want to draw the S circles on the same Smith chart, so this is the center value, obviously, that has shown in the first slide itself, that is S equal to 1. If you want to take S equal to 1 is this one, and S equal to 2, if you want to take, this is the value, S equal to 2 value, which is equal to your R circle. You have to take the compass and draw this circle. Then similarly, if you want to draw S equal to 3 circle, then you have to go for this. This is the circles which was shown in the previous slide. Okay, so that's it. So in this session, we have seen the Smith chart introduction with respect to normalized impedance consideration. Okay. So in the next sessions, we will see a problem with respect to the Smith chart. Thank you.